Ladies, gentlemen, and pals of all ages, we are less than 24 hours away from the release of the brand new massive Palworld update, Tides of Terraria. For those who haven't been looking into Palworld too much since its initial release period, there have already been a couple of quite major updates before this, adding in multiple islands of new content, a whole load of pals, an increased level cap, new weapons, armor, and mechanics in general as well. From the Sakurajima update back in June of last year, the Faybreak update in December, and now we have the third major update hitting within the next day, Tides of Terraria. This is the first collaboration style update that the developers have done, and while there will be a large bit of Terraria focus within this update, hence the name of it, and the animated trailer they released a few days ago as well, but it won't only be Terraria focused, and it looks to potentially be the biggest update the game has had so far, but with a slight grain of salt as we haven't been given a full picture of the update, just drip-fed little bits, but the little bits we've seen have been pretty substantial. So today I'm going to dive into all of those bits and talk about anything new going on within them, what we know is coming in the update, and what we believe will be coming as well. Starting off then from the top, if for whatever reason you're watching this and you don't have Palworld, it is actually on sale right now ahead of the update, so that is worth being aware of. Starting with the Terraria side of the update, this was sort of teased ahead of time by the addition of the Meowmere sword in Faybreak back in December, but announced last month that this would be a whole major part of the update. Since then we've had an animated trailer and some regular updates about little bits of information for the update as well, and some screenshots and some short clips that were tweeted out as well that give us a fair bit of stuff to go off of for what to expect. For a quick overview, going from the Steam post itself, we'll be able to catch monsters from Terraria and have them work for us just like pals, but there's also a question mark at the end of that statement that I find extremely interesting. But we don't know what the catch is here quite yet. That said, in the animated trailer we directly see blue slimes, we see cave bats, there's the Eye of Cthulhu, which many people were speculating might be a raid boss, but today's new clip from the devs seems to show it in more of a dungeon boss type of role, and they have the player pet it at the end, which first, gross? Petting an eye is gross and makes me feel weird. But second, considering we see the sphere catching it as well, that's just straight up confirmation we actually can have it as a pal, which is just awesome to see. Back to the animated trailer, there's also a quick glimpse of the silhouette of the Moon Lord, who people have speculated is probably going to be either a tower boss fight or a raid as well, but with less expectations of it being an actual captural pal at the end, but nobody knows that for sure as of this moment. We also then have the Terra Blade showing up in the trailer, which is a sword from Terraria that can fire a piercing projectile out when you swing it with its long range on it, and this is a big star of the update marketing so far. In a post on Twitter later in the month, they shared this clip with context that it is related to the Terraria update, which Terraria players immediately recognized as the Terra Prisma. This is a summon weapon in the game. In Palworld, this is shown just beating the crap out of a Kativa, but the player is sitting down on the bench while it's happening. So either this will function actually like a summon weapon from Terraria and it creates swords that attack independent of player input, or what I think would be an interesting take is if they actually just make it a pal. Would that be weird to have a pal that is literally just like a bunch of flying swords? I don't know, but either way, from the clip that we saw, it looks quite interesting. We've also had another clip shared with the Vortex Blaster weapon from Terraria, shooting a bunch of slime enemies, and this is a really neat weapon that looks to be faithfully translated because the way it works in Palworld matches the expectations from Terraria. It has a really high rate of fire, but also a massive spread pattern, so it's inaccurate at range. But every half a second or so while you're firing it, it also shoots a rocket, just because it can. As well, in this clip here, we see what I believe are some demon eye enemies too, but we still don't know if any of these are capturable pals for sure yet or not. And the next part of this clip has another confirmed collaboration weapon, which is Night Glow, a weapon that fires out homing bolts of light that attack enemies that are nearby. And this seems to be exactly how it functions in Palworld as well, which is very cool to see. The other main thing from the community post that is really important to note is that it says in addition to the collaboration, as in entirely separate from all of this Terraria stuff, there will also just be a bunch of general Palworld update stuff too, that will include a number of new pals and new islands in the game too. And the word islands being plural is quite interesting, but don't get your hopes too high because there might be a bit of an answer to that later on. There have also been some images shared like this one here, where we also see the hallowed armor set from Terraria Terraria, which in that game, when fully equipped, gives you a set bonus that lets you auto-dodge an attack from an enemy once per 30 seconds, and while I don't think that we should expect that to translate into Palworld, given how our current armor works, I could definitely see them trying to represent that effect in some sort of way. The other screenshots are more related to the non-Terraria parts of the update, and here's one that shows the player fishing, which is a completely new mechanic for Palworld, and to me that links up nicely with the idea of there being multiple new islands, because it's probably multiple smaller islands scattered around for more unique fishing locations, rather than just having like one big island like the previous major updates have been. That said, in this image we have 3 brand new pals, a sort of ghostly anglerfish looking fellow who I love the design of. There's also a happy little beautiful like horned seal with his big old tongue, and it just reminds me of the big fluffy dog from Spy Family, which is besides the point, but this is my video, so you have to indulge me a little bit if you want the juicy info. The third pal in this image is like a floating jellyfish humanoid type creature with like a parasol looking shape as the cap, and that is a lovely design too. And this also seems to be in a super icy biome, I would assume part of one of our new islands, but there's just not too much to read into with it past that. Then we have another image shared, this one with 3 more new pals, one of them being big tentacle goth girlfriend, one of them is a child in a Halloween costume that we have presumably kidnapped, and then there is also a giant mystical creature that I am betting is the big non-collaboration pal for this update. On a note of these pals as well, there was another short clip shared that also has the cephalopod pal in it. It had another new pal that is just like a little sausage with littler sausage legs and some really lazy eyes, and I love him. And then they show again another new pal, up to 8 new pals confirmed now, even outside of the Terraria update, and this one is like a tropical tree raptor that's just dancing and having a good time, and I'm happy for them. Then we see the jellyfish pal again for a brief flash of a moment, but look at the one that is curled up into a ball, it's so cute. And then the final shot of this clip is the big imposing looking pal from the screenshot, which is like a big mythical flying whale with these crazy golden horns and long thick whiskers, and past that one more screenshot with, wait for it, another 2 new pals. These ones are subspecies, with it being an electric version of Pangolin that looks really lovely with its coloring, and a knife version of Kuroajiro, who I have no idea what type it's supposed to be, but he has a knife now instead of a stick. But he looks happy, so it's probably fine. Then the last few days leading up to the update, they've had a couple more posts with some new information too. One of them showing off a new feature where you can straight up just play alongside a tower boss with Zoe and Grisbolt, used as an example. We don't know if there'll be more, this is what we've seen. They don't show this alongside another pal being with the player too, so my current guess is that this will function like a pal. You might not be able to have it active with a pal at the same time, especially as you can see the player and Zoe both riding Grisbolt at the same time and using the minigun. But this could also just be a whole separate system that is related to the summon weapons from Terraria as well. This clip is the only real information that we currently have about it. We don't know much more. However, in case you missed it, another 2 new pals are in this. Now up to 12 confirmed even outside of the Terraria update. These ones being a big tropical tree sauropod looking guy, and the other one might be a new icy bird pal, or it could just be an ice subspecies of Das Emu potentially as well. And then a quick one that won't apply to everyone, but if it does affect you, you're probably happy about it. 6 new language localizations are being added to the game, and so if you would rather experience the game in any of these languages moving forward, that option is open to you. As well, we had one more promo image shared for the game with a bunch of stuff that we have already seen, but wait, there is one more new pal in here too. This cute as heck flying squirrel over on the left side, who just looks gloriously round. Then finally, earlier today, like literally a couple of hours before this video is going up, they released one more clip related to the update itself. This is the one that confirmed the Eye of Cthulhu as a proper fight and as a catchable pal, which is very, very awesome. But alongside that main part of the clip, we see what appears to be a new Chillet skin, where he has like a crown and a regal cape, so he's like King Chillet. And then we see the Terrablade in action within Palworld, doing exactly as we expected it to, and firing out green projectiles quite quickly, which is just awesome to see faithfully represented, and will probably be a very fun weapon to use in Palworld. That's about it for now, everyone. This update comes out within the next 24 hours if you watch this video at the time of release, and this is everything that we know about Tides of Terraria, an update for Palworld at this moment. Personally, I'm looking forward to this return to Palworld. I love that they are doing these major updates like every 6 months or so, giving us something to really sink our teeth into, rather than just like small drip feeds of smaller content. I hope you've all enjoyed the video, and I hope you all enjoy playing the update after it releases too. Like if you liked the the video, subscribe to the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.